Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another week here on United People's TV. Sam here, and I'm going to run through all the latest United news. Who had a good weekend? What did you do? United didn't ruin it because they weren't playing. Who enjoyed the weather? Who had a barbecue? Let me know in the chat. Nice barbecue. Well, I went to one. Anyway, I'm going to run through. We're going to have conversations about Garnacho this morning. We're going to have conversations about Rashford, about Sancho, about player attitudes and approaches. And it's frustrating. I'm tired of it. I'm tired, Robbie. It's like these repeating conversations and more evidence. Anyway, we're going to run through all of that because it's definitely the most prevalent talking point around United right now. What's going on with Mbeumo? I'll tell you now. Nothing. The first bid went in. United haven't really done anything since. Still waiting for it. Been some whiffy news over the weekend. Nothing really for me to report to you. Well, also, hey, look, there's plenty to run through in today's show, okay? And you can get involved, as always, in the chat. Please do get involved. Right? Anybody who's new in town, welcome to United People's TV. I do try and interact with as many of you as I possibly can. All right? Let's see who's here from the mod and the member gang. Let's say hello to everyone and kick off the week. Stephanie, good morning to you. Alex, good morning to you. Josh, you're there as always. Carl, you're there as well. We've got Takeoff. We've got Jorge. We've got Toby, Freddie. Got Malps. Got Harishi. Got John, Caleb, Vince, Lebo, Shane. Good morning, all of you. Who had a cracking weekend? I did. I'll tell you who else had a cracking weekend. Congratulations to Diogo Dalot. Oh, commiseration. No, I'm joking. Congratulations to him. He got married over the weekend. Nice. That's it. Thought I'd start with that little bit of news. Why not? Right, there we go. A little bit of random news, this. Paul Pogba. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that Monaco are closing in on a deal to sign him as a free agent. Obviously, Paul Pogba, was it Juve? It was back at Juve, wasn't he? It was back at Juve and then had the drugs. Well, he failed a drugs test and then he went to the Court of Appeals, was successful, I think, got it reduced down. He's been a free agent this summer and now he's going to be joining Monaco. I wish him the best of luck. And there was a class photo that I saw over the weekend. Yoro, Pogba, and Kobe, I think out in, where are they training? I think it might be out in America. Not quite sure. That's a class photo. I hope Pogba nails it. Man, that takes you back. When Pogba came back to the club and then Mourinho was there and we had Zlatan and that was the video that was the first video that sort of exploded on United People's TV. I've been doing it for quite a few years prior. No, was it 2 years prior to that? I think it was. But it was the transcripted video of Pogba's conversation with Mourinho. That was the first. I think still actually is the biggest video on the channel. Funny. Right. Anyway, a little bit of random news. Maybe I suppose this could relate to Rashford, I suppose. Barca, we already know about Nico Williams going to Barca. Rooney, but how do you say his name? Is it Bargy? Bardghji. I'm not very good at pronouncing names anyway. Let alone that one. I'm going to go with Rooney Bargy. All right? Copenhagen. He's the winger who, of course, played against us and was pretty decent. We weren't ever too linked with him. I think he's had actually quite a severe injury this season, isn't he? I think so. Ravi, you're saying that that's when you first found UPTV. That Pogba video. You have been here for a while. Anyway. Just a little bit of random news. Now. I'm going to be having a conversation about Garnacho in about 5 minutes. I'm focusing on this lad first. Sancho. Mate, there are so many things I don't particularly like about modern football. And it's not just old man moaning, oh, back in my day, this was better. It just was better. It was far less complicated because social media has completely shifted what's important for footballers and how big their brands are away from the pitch and affects who they are on the pitch and what their priorities are. And I don't think we are ever going to get a worse example, or a better example, actually, of somebody whose priorities are in the wrong place than Jadon Sancho. Now, this is a man who, actually, no, boy, never fulfilled his potential at Man United. So what happened? We ended up loaning him to Chelsea, supposedly his boyhood club. He's crap at Chelsea as well. Has some moments, but that's about it. Yet still, Chelsea want to keep him next season, despite the fact that... But no, I'm not staying at this club unless you give me all of the money that's on the contract I've signed with United. I shouldn't really be entitled to it now, but they can't change it. Okay, well, you can just go back to United then. Well, United don't want me, so where am I going to go? Oh, Napoli. Oh, yeah, Napoli are going to come in. Our offer is clear. This is Napoli's sporting director. We will not pay Sancho's requested salary. Mate, it's almost like football is an inconvenience to Jadon Sancho. Like, look, I suppose quite a few footballers must be like this. Like, we all love football, right? It's a big part of our lives as fans. We love football, and just the watching of it, if you can get to go to it, talking about it. Man, a lot of my life is taken up by football. Some footballers must just look at football and go, I can't be... I really, really got to get up and go to work today. Really. Fine. That's what it feels like Jadon Sancho looks at when he talks about football. Like this utter inconvenience that I'm playing football as a career. A position where you don't need to talk about like privilege and like how many kids want to play football. It's just, it's mind-boggling. I've spoken so many times about how Sancho's going to be that old man on his rocking chair on the front of his porch somewhere when he's older going, you know what, I probably should have done that a little bit differently. Like, these Premier League footballers are supposed to be role models. They're supposed to be heroes for the kids. It's like, just your little dick, man. Yourself, it's not even, and this is what I mean about hating the modern game. It's not even self-entitled. I suppose it's kind of the same. It is. They're just self-centered. The center of the universe is them, and them alone. And that's the thing I hate most about the modern game is player FC. How there are fans who support players more than they support the clubs. I know it's an extreme example, but Ronaldo leaving Real Madrid and going to Juventus, and then how I think Real Madrid lost like 4 million followers on Instagram and Juve gained 4 million. And then people will just follow players around clubs. And how that sort of mentality goes down to the players themselves. They are the center of their universe. It is only them who are important rather than the clubs they play for. And it's like you can sit there and you can point and laugh at Antony's second season at Manchester United because it was bad. It was awful. Did he live up to the expectation of being an £80 million player? No. Was that his fault that he was an £80 million player? Absolutely not. That was just our club being absolute abominations when it comes to transfers. But here you see someone who had an awful second season, went out on loan on January, absolutely nailed it at Real Betis, and now is willing to take a wage cut in order to make that move permanently probably because Antony wants to play football. Antony enjoyed himself, really committed to it, realised, I'll tell you what, it's not bad living out in Seville. La Liga, I can deal with this. Nice. Yeah, good. I'm up for this. Committed himself to it. And now he's willing to take a wage cut to go there. And you've got somebody else here who's just had everything he could possibly want. At 21, the best thing that's the most impressive thing that Sancho ever did in his career was he took the leap to go to Dortmund when he was a young lad, like a teenager. It wasn't really something that a lot of players were doing, and he was one of the trailblazers that did it. And that's where my praise of Sancho pretty much ends. I think he was extremely brave to do that, and look what it earned him. Like he was in a Dortmund team that had Bellingham and had Hojlund, and then got himself into the England team. At 21, he moved to United. It's like, this is it. You've done it, man. All the hard work. Now you can just enjoy yourself. Now, sod that. The way that Sancho played when he came to United was almost the same as like Alexis Sanchez when he came to United. You know, Alexis Sanchez came in, signed the contract, like put his feet up, done. That's how Sancho's played effectively since he joined United, at Chelsea, at United. And it's just crap. And yeah. In fact, let me just go down and see what you're saying in the chat first before I speak about Garnacho. I hate Player FC fans, says Phil. Yeah, I do. Charlie saying, I wish to praise Antony, but no, Como came in and he refused them. He only wants Real Betis, who can't buy him. Man, Como, imagine that as your two options. Do I want to live in Como in Italy or Seville? Oh, man, he has got some top choices there. Top choices. Did it. Antony's mentality is on point, someone says down here. Antony's got his priorities straight. Less pressure and more appreciation from fans is why Antony wants to leave, says Gavin. Yeah, but not everyone's cut for the pressure of United. Now let's go on to talk about Garnacho. I can see a comment down there from OPC. It's only a shirt, Sam, right? It is only a shirt. But ladies and gents, let's not pretend that Garnacho is dumb here. All right? Like, you can let me know what you think about this from Garnacho, right? And I'm sure that a lot of you are going to be annoyed. Garnacho has sat there and he knew all the piss that he was going to boil. And he's like, yeah, I'll send that. Yeah, go on in. Boom. Let me just put that out there. We'll just randomly put it out and not think about because you have to. He's very aware of what the consequences of social media would be, considering he's been disciplined by our football club. He knows what he's doing. He's doing this to simply gain the attention, to force people into speaking about Garnacho, so he pops back up to the top, and he's almost using it as a sort of, I wouldn't say a negative PR tool, but just making sure that people are speaking about Garnacho. Look, Ryan, I'm not going to be like a stalker going down there. Oh, Bruno has liked the Garnacho post. People go way over the top on that sort of stuff. Now, people that have sometimes you've got fat fingers. You just double click it. It happens sometimes. I wouldn't look into that too much, but Garnacho's, I don't know where he is on here. They Spanish number plates? Presumably he's on holiday. So he's either, I don't know. It's just, he knows exactly what he's doing, man. He knows what he's doing. He's just doing it to not even to ruffle the feathers of United fans. Why do you think he would actually do it there? Because it feels just it's just flipping the bird towards United doing that. Someone down there saying he's in Ibiza. Nice. I'd like to go to Ibiza. It's just, mate, it's childish. It's childish. That's what this is. Like, you can talk about it, it's just pure school playground childish. Exactly that. He's just provoking a reaction. It's not something that's actually no, to be fair, it's done it. It's worked. Any publicity is good publicity, is what this is. Mate, like, if you, my word, if you don't support this manager now in Ruben Amorim, like, I don't think you ever will. I really, really don't. I'm actually going to do a video specifically on this tomorrow about this is why I'm so fully locked in on Ruben Amorim. Like, I know not everyone will be able to do this, but I will. I'm going to be looking past results. Well, I'm going to say that to a certain degree. If we come start the season and we bloody lose like 6 out of our first 7 games, I'm sure my conversation might be slightly different. But it's like, until you get these these sorts of attitudes out of the dressing room. It's just so difficult to make something sustainable. It really is. Childish is the only word you can use to describe it. It's childish. Fuck, man. I'm just tired of it. I'm just tired of this sort of nonsense existing at Manchester United. Let's read some chats here. How much hate from United fans has he got in his socials? But yeah, he should just take it and shut the fuck up. Again, the hypocrisy is shocking. Like, mate, Mo Wada down there. Right. So Garnacho should just do nothing. Like, Garnacho has done nothing. Like, Garnacho has taken stick. Yes. Like all footballers do. And like all footballers have always done. Do I see Bruno Fernandes coming up here flipping the bird back to United fans? You want to talk about players getting stick? Yeah. All right, mate. I'm sure you're in support of Garnacho. And enjoy going to support Aston Villa when he goes and joins them. It's just... I hate player FC. I hate it so much. Like there is so much I don't like about the modern game, like VAR. But just fans who support players more than the clubs they are playing for. How does that happen? How on earth do you get into supporting football to the point where you actually like a player more than the club that they are playing for? It's just weird. It's weird. Manny, you're saying I love nothing more than those 3 overpaid social media zombies going back 20 years and playing against Roy Keane. And I don't ever really sort of get involved in that. So, it wouldn't happen back in Fergie's day. Roy Keane would never have settled for that. It's like, that's kind of a bit pointless, really. Because you're just comparing different cultures. Right? You're just kind of comparing different cultures and what existed at one time rather than what exists at another time. And I think that's kind of unrealistic and unreasonable. It's a bit like, I think Roy Keane's a little bit of a dinosaur. And when he speaks about a lot of stuff now. Because what worked in your day, Roy, will not work in this day. So you can't really compare the situations. I'm Manager FC. Same thing. Oh, God, Akil, I can't help you. I can't help you, mate. It's almost, mate. Give you a little lesson here. It's almost like I want what is best for my football club. Manchester United. And you know who I think has got Manchester United's best interests at heart right now? Do I think it's Garnacho? I'm not sure he does. Do I think it's Rashford? Not sure about it. Sancho? Not sure. What about the man who has come in, left the club that he wanted to, and has made it clear that he is here for the long term, and he wants to... If Ruben Amorim succeeds, Manchester United succeed. So you're damn right I want him to succeed, because then we all win. If Amorim wins, so do we. That's why I'll back my manager. What a ridiculous comment. Man. It's Monday morning. I didn't want to come out swinging this much. But here we are. Anyway, right. Moving on to the next one. Rashford. And I just want to sort of explain and run through what this is, right? 1 second there. Notifications going off. You haven't seen what happened at the weekend. Let me run through this quote here and where it came from, and just to explain to you the purpose of it. Right, Marcus Rashford speaking to 1996 Xavi. Who is he? I'll explain to you in a sec. Of course, I'd love to play with Lamine Yamal. Everyone wants to play with the best. Hopefully, we'll see. And of course, we know full well that Rashford wants to join Barcelona. Where's that interview? It's here. This is where he said it, right?
Would you like to play with Lamine someday?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I think everybody in the world wants to play with the best, you know, so
yeah.
Hopefully we'll see.
Would you?
Right. And the purpose of having this conversation is to get in the press. And we've got Sky Sports here covering the quotes. Rashford, Man United forward, says he would like to play with Barca star Lamine Yamal. Let's go over to the BBC. Rashford would like to play at Barcelona with Lamine Yamal. And now, because of said conversation, the press are talking about it. The press are talking about Rashford, and they're talking about Barca. What you're seeing here is PR, right? Where has this interview come from? Its interview has come from this channel, Xbuyer. A couple of Spanish lads with 5.8 million subscribers on YouTube. They spent 24 hours with Rashford in their latest video. Let me pull that video up here. You can see it there. 24 hours with Marcus Rashford, right? Two lads who turn up in a Spanish shirt and a Barcelona shirt. It's just, well, it's not exactly sly, is it? It's not exactly sly. It's, Rashford would have been encouraged to do this by probably his brother and say, look, these lads got nearly 6 million followers on YouTube. It's part and parcel of modern football. It's part and parcel of the fact that you can use people like Fabrizio Romano to leverage yourself in negotiations with football clubs. You can use YouTubers like these lads who have got nearly 6 million followers in Spain and clearly have got some influence with some of the younger Spanish fans, and you can go and make yourself look good by doing some training videos with them. And they can rock up in a Barca shirt and a Spanish shirt. Rashford is desperate to play for Barcelona. And it's kind of getting a little bit... It's kind of getting a little bit painful to watch, really. Like, Fran, you're going down there, he's doing his best Peter Odemwingie impression. Was it Odemwingie who ended up, like, driving down and was sitting outside QPR's training ground? Was it QPR? West Ham? I don't know where it was. Somewhere in London. Because he was desperate for a move. It's exactly what it is, Siraj. Rashford simply here is advertising himself to Barcelona. He's actively pushing the conversation with Barcelona. So it's not just sitting there waiting for Barcelona to call him. It's... It feels like a little bit embarrassing because, like, Rashford, lad, like, Barca are signing Nico Williams, man. They're also about to sign the other lad. Like, I know you want to join them, but like, their eyes are elsewhere. It's like fancying a girl at school, just fancies someone else. You're like, nah, man. I've got this. Be honest, man. You haven't got any chance. Nah, sod that, man. I'm still going. Honestly, I'm looking out for you here. Like, you probably shouldn't do it. Yeah, and it's a bit thirsty. It's just a bit... I don't think it's going to end well for him. Aaron, you just got the same analogy down there that I just said. The lad still texts him, please, after the girl said no. That's what it feels like. Yeah. It's different. Like this move here from Garnacho, he knows what he's doing, and he doesn't particularly care about the consequences of angering United fans because it forces back into the conversation and provokes the reaction that he gets. But Marcus Rashford is just like, he may as well stand there on a balcony with a megaphone saying, please sign me Barcelona, please. I'm begging you at this point, please. Because that's what it's like. It's kind of reached that stage. What else are you going to see? I don't know, but odds on Rashford being on holiday in Barcelona at any point in the next week or two? I think he's in Marbella now doing some training. You might just see him rocking down. What's the name of the main avenue in Barcelona called? Can't remember now. What spot, though? Do like Barcelona, by the way. Amsterdam and Barcelona are probably my two favourite European cities. Let me see what you're saying down here in the chat. Andy's saying, Sam, what Marcus doesn't understand, this is selling himself to Barcelona, is putting other clubs off him too. Mate. And it's all about... we speak about this quite a lot. Las Ramblas. Thank you very much. Just poorly advised players, man. What do you think that lack of advice comes from? Is it just that the people that they've got around them that are advising them on this sort of stuff, they just don't really understand what it is they're advising on? Probably. Because as Ant says down there, right? Any other club that's now looking at Rashford, and there will be. Rashford's a talented footballer. Let's make no mistake here. I know that the story is written at United, but Rashford will go elsewhere. He'll probably be a decent footballer. But all you're seeing is Rashford twerking for other clubs. So if you're, let's say, Napoli, for example, or what other clubs have been linked with Rashford? I don't really know. Remember, he met with AC Milan, and AC Milan might come back in for him because Rafael Leao is getting linked with Bayern. Because Bayern, I think, wanted Nico Williams. He's going Barca, just like the merry-go-round. The merry-go-round. And Jonathan, I think that's kind of a fair point there, saying can't just blame it on advice now. He's a big boy. I think that is a fair point. But at the same time, when you're that big a name in the world, you need people to advise you in those certain areas. While you might be old enough to be able to do it from a maturity perspective, the truth is that you need advisors in specific areas. That's why footballers have agents. I don't really know. It's just painful, man. It is painful watching Sancho just dig his heels in and saying, nah, man, money for me is the most important thing. I will turn my back on anybody who doesn't pay me what United have given me in the contract. Right now with Sancho, I think we're closer to loaning him out next season again with an obligation, and it will be a better contract in terms of what that obligation means than we are to selling him. I don't know who's going to buy Sancho. He's made it abundantly clear through multiple decisions, one with Chelsea and now one with Napoli. Sancho is not taking a pay cut. Right? Sancho's not taking a pay cut. So who the hell's signing him? No one. No one's signing Sancho unless he takes a pay cut, unless he moves to Saudi. And then we'll get the real, It's going to be interesting, that, isn't it? Type yes or no. Do you think if a Saudi club comes in for Sancho that he would move there? Or at that point, would he be like, oh, no, actually, I want to play football in one of Europe's top leagues. So I want all the money in the world that no one's willing to pay, and in a league where no one's willing to pay it. But I want both these things at the same time. That, ladies and gents, is called no compromising. If you're trying, I don't know why I always do this, but I just try and, it's probably because I just bought one still. When you buy a house, you're probably going to have to compromise on something. You're very unlikely to find that perfect dream house. You might have to compromise on the location a bit. Don't compromise on location. You probably have to compromise something on the decoration or this. Do a bit more work there. But if you want something, you'll compromise. I don't think he compromises. Most of you saying no down there. I should have done a poll, really. Let him rot in the reserve, says Chris. I know it's like, on paper, it's a class idea. I don't want Sancho's footsteps to touch Carrington ever again. I want him nowhere near my football club, nowhere near the reserves, nowhere near the younger lads who are trying to learn how to be a footballer, to have to be surrounded by a footballer who we don't want at the football club. Stop that. I don't want him anywhere near my club anymore. Pride, I feel like I've always been, in general, I know that there's going to be different examples, but I think in general I've been quite forgiving of footballers at United over these years. I've always hated the idea of being first to sort of jump on someone's back and sort of kick them when they're down and sort of twist the knife and add the pressure. But just like with so many of these footballers now, I'm just done. I'm just tired. It's like, how many chances do you want, man? How many chances do you possibly want? Because United fans have been patient. But yeah, Garnacho knows what he's doing. Trying to provoke a reaction. That reaction has been provoked. Marcus Rashford, boy oh boy, I've never seen somebody in a United shirt actively try to push for a move to another club so openly and so hard and not be successful as I have with Rashford and Barcelona. And I don't really, and like someone said down there in the comments, is you're actually kind of taking your other possibilities away from yourself by going so hard after Barca. Stop saying it's your club, it's our club, it's your club. It's my club, it's your club. I have to get offended about that, peeps. Jason says, not even the Saudi clubs want Sancho. I haven't seen any links with Sancho and Saudi. And I mentioned it earlier. about Antony, sort of like he wants to move to Real Betis and he's willing to take a pay cut to go there. Real Betis definitely want him. Antony wants Real Betis. It's just about finding that agreement. And if it's going to be a 30% wage cut, remember, by the way, because this took us by surprise, didn't it? Finding out, I think, how much Antony was actually on. And I think it was it 186? I remember at the time. Coming out and finding out, I believe that Real Betis have paid like 70-odd%, like a far higher percentage of Antony's wages than we thought that they would. I actually think his wages were actually less than we thought they were. But isn't it mad that this summer, we're now using Antony as an example over the likes of Rashford, Garnacho, and Sancho. Oh, how times have changed. And oh my word, how we do not have enough examples at this football club if we are using Antony as an example in a positive sense in any way, shape or form. Man, this squad still is just... We're incredibly good at wasting money. Like, relentlessly good at wasting money. It's always been the issue. Still has. I think it's like I think it's an unwritten rule of football. The success of a football team you can follow by the success of how they do in transfer windows, and both of those two things align unless you get like anomalies like Barca in like 2006 or United coming through with the class of '92 and having multiple youngsters all coming through at once. Other than that, when you nail it in the market and you buy the right players, success follows. Steve, football blows my mind every transfer window since COVID. I suppose your mind can get blown in good ways or bad ways. Pyro saying Antony was never toxic. I don't think he ever particularly was. He was just very crap at one point, wasn't he? Let's be honest. Look, Hojlund. Okay, moving on to Hojlund. The majority of this show, by the way, is, I'm sure you can tell by now, because we're half an hour into it, is dedicated to speaking about player sales rather than player signings. If you want an update on Mbeumo, I can't give you one because there isn't one. There's been some stuff reported over the weekend. It's just like, it's whiffy. Who is it? Nothing. I don't know. United, we're still waiting for the second bid to go in. I still don't really think there's going to be much of a change between the price that got rejected and the price we signed him for. Remember, we offered like 55 mil all in. I think we'll agree somewhere around the same price as Cunha, 62.5. But for some reason, it's not gone in. Whether that's Thomas Frank leaving, whether that's Brentford wanting a replacement manager before him, whether it's Brentford trying to find a replacement for Mbeumo before they sell Mbeumo, I don't know. You don't know. But the second bid hasn't gone in. I still think we'll sign him. And I'm not really too fussed as long as it happens before the preseason begins. Earlier the better. As long as it's done before preseason, then it's got Ruben Amorim's got all the time in the world. Liam's saying that. Liam, that's a nice comment, and I hope you're bloody right, mate. Saying one day we'll have a live show of all the nice things at United. I didn't want to come with this sort of energy. Like, so I had someone drop me a message saying, Sam, where were the lunchtime videos over the weekend? I could have produced videos, right? What would I have been talking about? What videos could I have done that would have warranted your time, that would have been worth a conversation and that would have felt new, that wouldn't have felt like a conversation that we repeated? Now, you might argue that this live show is a conversation that we've repeated multiple times in the past, because it is. It's just that there's more evidence of it that's come out. I didn't really feel that there was anything that was worth your time this weekend, so I left it. And you know what? And that's something I really, really do pride United People's TV on, is I don't really feel like we ever put content out for the sake of it. And I want to make sure that I put us in a position where we can do that sort of stuff. Or if there isn't anything, you don't have to get 3 live shows a day that feed you constant tiny rumours that force a conversation that can extend an hour. I like being able to not do that. So big up to everyone, all right? Yeah, I had a good weekend as well. What'd I do? Friday, had friends over. Went to my Ibiza orchestra. That was good. I enjoyed that. Saturday, just chilled, nice and hot. Sunday, 3-year-old's birthday party. Pretty impressive, to be fair. Well done, Soph. Well done, Rob. You nailed that. Barbecue. Came back here. Anyway, Hojlund, right? I think in an ideal world, United would loan or sell Hojlund this summer. It hasn't really been too much going on, but he's been linked with Inter and Napoli. Yeah. I don't think this rules out the idea that he could go to Inter, but Inter's president openly speaking about Bonnie, who's a striker for Parma, who they are interested in signing. Not really. Had too many links past that. I think Inter so far have been the club most heavily linked with Hojlund, but they're kind of yet to make a move. I imagine they're just sort of lining up different targets, and Hojlund might be on that list, but nothing really on there. And I only put Hojlund down as a conversation around Napoli because I said, well, if United, what are the potential ways that we could sign Osimhen? Let's say, for example, we were to sign Osimhen. I said, well, maybe the conversation could include Hojlund. Looks like Napoli are going to be going after Darwin Núñez. Man, Liverpool are having a ridiculously good summer, I think. They needed fullbacks. They got 2 fullbacks. Got Florian Wirtz in. And if they get rid of Núñez, and they will, they get rid of Núñez and they're going to spend that money on a striker. You could see Gyökeres in a Liverpool shirt next season. I think that's possible. But they're doing what they need to do this summer. Anyway, I don't think that Napoli are going to be going after Hojlund anytime soon. Will they be going after? If we go back to the leaving whiteboard, we can see where we're at. Right? Sancho, you know where he's been linked with. Napoli, won't take a pay cut. Hojlund, he wants to stay. No massive links with him moving. Garnacho, look, if Garnacho wants to stay in the Prem, then dude, right? I'm fine with you wearing that shirt next season. Cool, Garnacho, go there. Onana, come in the other direction. Fine, let's have a conversation. Again, maybe this is leverage that United can use. In the end of it, I already did that video last week. There are so many players in that Villa squad that I'll be like, yes, please. Yes, please. None of them really are Remy Martinez. I'll speak about him next. Yes, please. Yes, please. Onana, yes, please. Kamara, yes, please. Watkins, yes, please. Garnacho, you can join Villa. Stay in the Prem. Oh, no, I want to play Champions League football. Ah, so you want to stay in the Prem? Ah, just to play Champions League football. Okay. Anyway, not enough movement on sales. And as I said, I did that video last week on this video actually specifically was around the fact that I don't want United to have Nana as our number 1 next season. I think it would be a mistake. I think there's a lot that we've got to do this summer. Maybe previously I would have been more willing to give Onana another season. You know, we've got priorities elsewhere. We've got this, we've got that. But looking at this summer, I'm saying there was 2 things that I think we really needed to do that would have immediately given us a lot more points next season. 1, score more goals. 2, concede less through ridiculous defensive mistakes. Now, not all of those are Onana's, but he was directly responsible for a fair amount of them. And my confidence in him is gone. I don't think Martinez is the solution, but I don't want Onana in as our number 1. Brandon, you're saying you want to keep him. Like, I think there's a possibility that we do keep Onana, and I'm really quite aware of this. So I don't just want to... Like, Garnacho, there's no way that Garnacho kicks a ball for United next season with the way that he has behaved. Onana's not really said anything. I just don't think he's good enough for United. Well, that's a lie. I do think he was good enough for United, but it's just not happened. But he's not being a dick about it. So it's very different situations, even if I do think that he should be replaced. Enzo, you're saying, Sam, are you worried about not being able to sell the Deadwood this summer because of the efficiency? Efficiency? Look, man. I don't think that Chris Vavell and Jason Wilcox and Omar Barada are all sitting twiddling their thumbs, not actively trying to sell these players. But they are trying to sell players who come with red flags, who come with massively inflated wages, who come with attitude issues, and who come with question marks as to whether or not they're going to be worth the investment. United are trying to sell something which not everybody wants to buy. It's easy selling players who are good and everyone wants. Far more difficult selling players that nobody actually wants. Or even if they do want them, that nobody can actually bloody afford. That's been our issue. Has been our issue. And we're still suffering the consequences of crap negotiations and contracts that we had previously. Manny, how you doing, man? You're saying we will most likely loan a striker? Man. United signing a striker on deadline day. Oh, tradition. Given we can't sell the garbage, I expect Ruben to adapt and share the 9 between Cunha, Xerxes and Mbeumo. We're not signing any striker over 30 mil. That was honestly my logic prior to the sort of Gyökeres stuff coming out. And now that the Gyökeres stuff has kind of quietened down, I think signing Cunha and Mbeumo solves a lot of United's goal scoring problems. Not all of them, but can you do everything in one summer? Not with the budget that we've got. You know what I think? If we do sign Mbeumo, the priority is in central midfield and goalkeeper rather than signing another striker. So you might well be right. Maybe United do get a striker in late in the window, and it might not be someone who's going to score 30 goals, but I don't think we can afford that striker this summer. Which is why I was surprised when any of the Gyökeres and Osman conversations came around. Obviously, we know about Red Football Limited and the PSR stuff now, and actually, United's PSR is better than we thought it was. But you know what we need this summer? Cash money. You know what we can't get this summer because no one wants to buy a Sancho or Rashford or Garnacho or Hojlund or Shaw or Malacia. We can't get cash. You can't just pull cash out of thin air. Not in the modern game. You need to sell. And we can't bloody sell anybody. And you're talking about Gonzalo Ramos. Might be a conversation that comes later in the window. Zlatan. Doing saying, why is no one talking about a season-long loan for a striker? If we can get back in Europe, then a better striker will come. I think Mbeumo is the priority. As far as attack goes, I'll be honest, maybe this always was the case. Was it last week? The last 2 weeks have been a lot of surprising conversations around strikers and around things we're doing. Things we might do this summer. Really took us all by surprise. I was like, really? I didn't see this coming. Someone's saying Moise Kean has been linked now. If you go to the link whiteboard, Kolo Muani's been linked. I haven't got Moise Kean on there. No, we've got Moise Kean on there. Mateta's been linked. Osman, Gyökeres, Delap. What are the strikers? Mitrovic, Sesko, Nicholas Jackson. Maybe that wouldn't be a horrendous shout. Schick, Samu from Porto, Burkhardt. Bloody loads of strikers on there, man. Jonathan David. Nothing's really happened on Jonathan David. And saying, can we set up a shell company like Chelsea, sell Garnacho, Rashford and Sancho to it? United, Manchester FC. Just sell players to them. Yeah, you might be able to get it. I don't know. Either way, it's just... It's so frustrating that we're hampered by almost like these anchors. Players that we just don't want at our football club. These players that just aren't committed to playing for this football club that we can't get rid of. That we can't sell. And this is where, like, I don't know the finances, the ins and outs, but, like, how low can Man United go where it still ends up being a bit of a positive that they leave? Because there is no financial... I mean, there's a point to the dressing room if Sancho's not there, right? But that also has to match up financially. We can't just afford, as a football club, to rip up the contract of Sancho, rip up the contract of Rashford, rip up the contract of Garnacho. Well, Garnacho will be very stupid. But these are players who are assets of this club, and we need to find new homes for them. But how low can we go? Do we need to do that obligation with maybe an upfront loan fee that can be used as cash this summer. It feels like selling players shouldn't be as complicated as it is at Manchester United. Really shouldn't, but it is because of what we've done previously. See what you're saying down here. Last few minutes of the show, I'll read through some of your comments. Can play Xerxes a false 9. His link-up play with Cunha and Mbeumo would work. I'll do a video on that in the future, probably, after, we sign Mbeumo. Because I do think Xerxes would be an interesting one. I don't think it would be perfect in there because you kind of want a number 9 to stretch the team rather than compact it a bit more, and it could get a little bit busy and congested. Remember Carl Anker speaking about that on Stretford Paddock, and I think he's spot on. But I'm looking forward to seeing Xerxes next. I'm looking forward to seeing Xerxes far more than I would be the idea of looking forward to Hojlund. And he's saying, what if we cover a portion of Sancho's wages just to get him sold? This is the thing I mean, man. These are the compromises. United are going to, I think we're going to have to compromise on Sancho's exit somehow. If he's not going to budge on the wages, and maybe he doesn't want to, well, we'll find out if he gets linked with Saudi clubs. Like, we're going to have to compromise and probably do something that isn't actually in the best interest of our club. Well, is overall in the best interest, overall the best interests of our club. But we might have to pay some of his wages for him to go. But then how do you do that and then get cash up front? I don't quite know. Are you then paying some of his wages across the course of the season? Or are you just accepting a lower fee for Sancho that would then offset? That might be what it is. But then how much do we actually need to sell Sancho for this summer for it to be a positive on the books because of PSR and amortization? Diego Leon video is coming this week, by the way. I just pushed it back. It's coming out this week. At least I can still laugh. I hope this week, in an ideal world, we get a solid bid in for Sancho. Type it in the chat, right? What would you say are like the 3 most important things for United to do this week? Like if you can get, I don't know, the best 3 things you think could happen for us this week. Number 1 would be we agree a deal for Mbeumo, right? That would be the one. Number 2, past that, I want us to agree a deal that Sancho's gone. Ricky, I've got my Diego Leon video. It's all prepped. Just haven't recorded it yet. Haven't sent it to the editor. We're busy here. Well, I had a weekend off. I think Garnacho would probably put it as number 3. So Mbeumo, the deal agreed. Official bids coming in for Sancho and Garnacho would probably be the 3 things I would like to see. Let me see what you're saying. Sale of Rashford and Sancho. Sancho out, Garnacho out, and Mbeumo in. Sancho, Rashford, and Garnacho leaving. Someone's saying down there. Sell Garnacho and Sancho. We get bids in for Sancho and Rashford. Yeah, I would just like some bids, man. I would just like some bids for our players. We go to, as I said, the leaving whiteboard. No bid for Antony, no bid for Sancho, Garnacho, Hojlund, Onana, Bayindir, Shaw, Malacia, Casemiro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players I've got down there that I would like United to be able to sell this summer, and not one of them we've had a bid for. We need some movement on that. I don't think it's down to United being incompetent and they like Vivell and Wilcox not doing their job properly. It's just that they are struggling to sell something that doesn't have a market. That's what it is. Like, you can be the greatest salesman in the world, but if you don't have somebody who wants to buy it, you have to somehow convince them to do it. Right now, with Garnacho, with Rashford, with Sancho, with other players, we're struggling with that. Really struggling. Right. I'm going to wrap up for today. Thank you all for the chat. As cheery as it was, it's just, this is Manchester United right now, and these are the conversations that we need to have. Lunchtime, I'm going to do it in a far more succinct video. We'll be cracking on all week, Monday to Friday, with the lunchtime videos too. Also, we're going to have some United People's production videos coming this week. Lots is going on in the background. So if you can, please do subscribe. Make sure you drop a like on the video. I'll be here tomorrow. Fingers crossed I get the extra, like, here we go show. Because those live streams are always fun. Take it easy, everyone.